Morning, everybody. I see people are still coming in, so let's give it another minute before we formally start.
Yeah, they're coming in quick and fast. It's looking good.
Okay. So I think it's stabilized now. So let's get ourselves going. So firstly, welcome to our AGM, or the culmination of our AGM process, which where we present the results and of the voting and so on. Just to let you know, I had a look back over our records. This is the 16th AGM of the Asdsa. Our first AGM was in 2004, and the group there was mandated to go away and put together a constitution. And our next AGM was in 2007, where we formally appointed a board of directors and we had a constitution and all of those good things. And so, in fact, 2007 was my first board appointment. I've been on the board of the Asdsa since 2007. And it's now time, and Sharon will talk about it a bit later on, but I'm now officially retiring from the board. It's enough. And so I will be moving on to other roles. So I'm not going to disappear, but I will move off the board. So, as you know, our AGMs do award CPD points for members with a designation. So please look out later on in the chat box and we'll put the link in to get your CPD points. We're going to run the AGM in a similar fashion to the way we run conversation, in that we would like members to engage with us. But to do that, please, through the chat box. So you won't be able to unmute your mic or raise your hand and ask a question verbally. But don't let that stop you from engaging with us, asking questions, raising comments. And I will do a little bit of presenting at the beginning, but then I will act as moderator and bring your questions to the attention of the speaker a little bit later on. Just to then recap our process. And as you know, we've run this process over the last several years, where in order to encourage wide participation from all members, we have had an electronic voting process and an electronic AGM, which means that every member, regardless of where you are able to be actively engaged in voting and actively participating in the AGM itself, even if you're living in a remote little village. And I know many of our members do that. So this is the process. The voting started a while ago, and it culminated on the 21st. We've used yesterday to do the auditing and checking. And so today culminates that process. Very quickly then, our agenda for today will be, and the welcome is happening now, we're going to ask our new chairperson, Thandi, to do an opening address shortly. I will then pick up the voting results and present the results of the voting to you. And then I'm going to hand over to Sharon, who will talk about performance, the changes in various positions, including herself, mine, and the new CEO. And then we will wrap up no later than 1200 with closing comments and questions. Please, I do encourage you, as we go through this, if you have questions or comments, raise them in the chat box, because then I can bring them to the attention of the speaker. And I'm just having a quick check here. If anybody's made any comments, I see a lot of hellos. It's great. Thank everybody for being here. That's cool. We're still waiting on our chair to join us. So what I'm going to do is I'll move on to look at the results of the voting, and we can come back to Thandi when she can eventually join us. So let's then look at how the voting has worked and what results have come through. And I'll come back to this as well. As you know, as in previous years, we audit our voting. So our members vote electronically on our system. And then that gets checked by our auditors. Oh, I see Thandi has joined us. Just got a message from her. Thandi, if you're ready to speak, I'm going to go back to you, if I may. And I'll stop screen sharing.
Tandy,
And
it's
maybe-
Angelique. I'm just
Yeah.
checking the box. I'm not seeing Tandy at all.
Oh,
So I
okay.
can't make her a panelist
Oh,
if she
all
is
right.
in the members, and I don't see her in the panelist either. So
All right,
I'm
then
just quickly going to converse with her offline.
I'll carry on, and I'll give the details of the voting back to the members, and then we can come back to Tandy and Sharon's presentations. Cool. So, as you know, electronic voting, it does get audited by auditors to ensure that there's no nonsense on the go, and the auditors have done that, and they've confirmed that the votes are as they were cast, and there's no nonsense there. You also remember that a key thing for an annual general meeting is that there must be a quorum of members meeting or voting, and the quorum minimum requirement for a quorum for the ASDSA, as set out in our memorandum of incorporation, is 25%. And I think this slide here tells us, so currently we have 370 members in good standing. Simply put, good standing means you paid your fees and you are abiding by the code of conduct. So we've got 370 members in good standing. 25% quorum requirements means we need at least 92.5 votes. I don't know about the half person, but there we go. We've actually achieved 98. So I'm delighted to tell you we have achieved the necessary quorum for the voting and for the AGM. There were 4 resolutions put to you that we asked you to vote on. Resolution number 1 was to review the minutes of our previous AGM and let us know whether you were happy to support that they were accurate and correct, or you weren't. Okay. You'll see here that 84 out of the 98 people confirmed that they were happy, and 14 ticked the I don't want to vote. Now, I know that we have quite a number of new members, and clearly if you weren't at our last AGM, it makes it very hard for you to give comment on whether the minutes are an accurate representation of that AGM. So the 14 people who didn't want to vote absolutely understand that. So this resolution is now passed. Resolution number 2 is to review the audited annual financial statements for the financial year ending 31 March this year. We've had 82 people saying yes, one person saying no, and 15 who abstained. The no person, from feedback in conversation with them, is they were, I think they got confused. So they were not saying no, that they should be approved. So that resolution is also passed. Resolution 3 was around the appointment of the external auditors who will conduct the audit at the end of March, end of our financial year. And we have approved BDB Platinum again to do the audit at the end of this financial year. 88 yeses, 10 I don't want to vote, so that resolution is passed. Please also note, as a matter of good governance, we will start changing our auditors on a regular basis. And we will therefore look for a new set of auditors for our next financial year. And we'll come back to you at our next AGM and check that you're comfortable with the next set of auditors that we want to use. So that resolution is passed. And then the last resolution, approval of the directors of the board. This resolution is again passed, 91 yeses. 2 people said no. 1, I think, meant I didn't want to vote. The other one wasn't happy. But the resolution is passed with 91 yeses, 2 noes, and 5 I don't want to vote. So that then covers the results of the voting. And I'm just having a look at the chat box and see that there are no questions from anyone. Are there any questions that anybody who does want to raise at this time? I see Sylvia saying, please provide us with profiles of auditors you find, as I'm sure most of us don't have an idea about who are suitable auditors. We will put it to the members then, I think, at the next AGM, Sylvia. I think that's up to the board and Exco to decide, but I suspect that that's what they're likely to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe
questions?
Andy,
Sharon,
can I
go
just come in there? What we'll probably do is we will send out profiles of 3 vetted auditors for the members to choose from in a resolution for the next AGM. So they'll get notification upfront of 3 auditors to choose from. I think that's the normal process that we'd go through.
Cool.
Okay.
Great, then I think that I've covered my bit. Thandi, are you comfortable to talk to us? You are muted, Thandi.
Yes.
We can't hear you
Yes,
yet.
indeed. Thank you so much.
Cool, I'll hand over to you.
No, thank you. I've been in the meeting, but I think because I joined not as a panelist, but as a member, you couldn't see me, but I could see you. Anyway, thank you so much. And dear colleagues, I'm sorry for that little glitch. Dear colleagues, a very welcome to all of you to what I believe is the 16th annual general meeting of the Association of Skills Development South Africa. Before we commence the proceedings, I'd like to thank you for entrusting me to be part of the leadership of this amazing organization. Thanks to the executive, the board, and the members for championing such a worthy cause in the skills development space in a country that is plagued with unemployment. The Skills Development Association of South Africa, for me, is an important body because it really aims to further the national skills development and other human capital development strategies through participation in education, training, and development initiatives, which you're doing very well. It has been an exciting year for the South African Skills Development South Africa. We have implemented new, improved, and some other processes to enable our organization to run more efficiently, effectively, and seamlessly for your experience as the members and the stakeholders, to enable our organization to really be run in a way that everybody would be proud of. We've begun the process of automation and licensing some of our systems as well. And we continue to expand the interaction with our members and focus on the growth of a professional body that we can all be proud of. We listen to our members' requests, the industry reflections and trends that arise, and we always strive to add value to our members and the industries that we serve. The Association for Skills Development South Africa continues to really add value to you as professionals. And it is with great pleasure to say that we have welcomed new members to the association. And many members have received their designations during the last year, which is really great. The board and executive committee have the unique task right now to navigate this rapidly changing landscape in South Africa at the moment, so that we remain relevant and we remain the voice of the skills development community of subject matter experts and professionals across the sectors. We continue to focus on the various business industries and how skills development can play a pivotal role in each and every industry. In actual fact, what is really important is that we are very focused on the National Skills Development Strategy, whose priority areas are developing a culture of high-quality lifelong learning and fostering skills development in the formal economy for productivity and employment growth. We also are very instrumental in stimulating and supporting skills development in small businesses as we equip the members with the relevant skills, and we promote skills development for employability and sustainable livelihoods, which is really what the National Skills Development Strategy of the country is about. And we assist the new entrants in the industries to add more value. And strategically, as an organization, our office bearers and committee chairpersons continue to strive toward the achievement of these objectives and delivering an effective and efficient value add to our members. I would like to specifically acknowledge and thank the regional chairperson, some of whom I have not met as yet. Angela Schultz, Mariana Baby, Asdsa, Elaine Kruger, Marina Rita in the Western Cape. I've met her. Drina Davis, Hesse Manuel, and Dr. Flores Prinsloo. Thank you so much, our regional chairpersons. You've got your work cut out, and we really enjoy and love the energy that you are giving in your respective provinces. And we are proud to have the footprint in the areas that you work in. And the board of directors, I really would love to thank Marina Rita as well, and Renike, who has been with the organization since inception, I believe. And Andy, you spoke about retirement. In our world, there's no retirement. In our world, there's taking the soft seat whilst letting the other people drive on the harder seats, and you give direction and instruction. And I hope you'll be doing that. And we also have Melanie, who's the professional body secretary, Renee Howlett, thank you so much, as a board member and BE specialist, and Larato, the board member, we thank you for your commitment as the certification committee chairperson, and Jonathan Browns, we really thank you as the project liaison person and board member. And we know the kind of work that we've been having with the sitters and projects that have been our livelihood this year, and I believe would continue to be that in the following years. And Yolanda Turkey, the board member and marketing committee chairperson, thank you so much for your dedication. And as the announcements come that you will be taking a different role in the organization, we thank you still. And lastly, I'd like to thank Sharon van der Heever, who has been the CEO for the past 5 or 6 years. Sharon, thank you so much for your energy and dedication and driving this amazing organization. And I'm not forgetting our support team. Angelique, thank you so much. I've spent time with you. You have educated me in many ways, and would like to thank Tracy Vanikek as well, and Danielle in the accounts and membership liaison space. As the board of directors, we really are also wanting to work very hard with the members to look at the direction and strategy of the organization going forward. We would like to put more effort in the professional recognition of practitioners in the skills development occupational sector, and by engaging with our stakeholders and developing the members and expanding the reach in the different provinces. And would like to add more value to our members through what we are currently doing. Could be webinars and the events that we're having, and above all, I think the memorandum of understanding that we are continuously fostering with the other professional bodies, because we really truly believe that we can only be successful if we collaborate, because collaboration is the new competition. And we will continue to engage with the trade associations and professional bodies, because these are what make the professional space to be valuable in the country that we're talking about. And we also are going to be focusing more on the development of our professional designations, because we would like to have more quality and recognized professional designations. And the lobbying on advocacy is one of the strategic functions that we will continue to have, because we know that there's lots of changes in the country that we live in, particularly in South Africa right now. And as policies and practices are changed, we need to continue to lobby on an ongoing basis. And I'd like to thank the technical committee that has been hard at work, monitoring and contributing as thought leaders in the skills development, policy and practice space, and under the leadership of Andy. And Andy, thank you so much for that. And in terms of collaboration, I think Sharon has done some sterling work in this area. We again thank you, Sharon, for that. The Association of Skills Development has been invited to numerous collaborative participatory forums during the past year, and will continue to engage with these collaborations. And what else did I want to say? Yeah, I also wanted to say that it's really great that we've got the new members and we are expanding as an organization, and we'll continue to focus on the various business industries and how skills development can play a pivotal role in each and every industry. All of these achievements could not have been possible without the relentless support of the members and the stakeholders who are really supporting the primary objective of the Association of Skills Development South Africa. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you who have supported and guided us during the year. I also thank all my colleagues on the board on their continued support and guidance. Last but not least, I would like to thank all of you as members of the ASDSA. This is our time. We've got the opportunity. As Africa, we know that we are one of the youngest continents in the world with the average age of, I think, 25. And we're going to be the providers of talent and skills globally in the future. And this is our time now to sharpen our sword and to make sure that South Africa in particular, and Africa as a whole, is better positioned to do what the world expects it to do, and that is to supply the talent, the skills for the development of the world going forward. In closing, this past year has been challenging, but ultimately rewarding for the team because we made some very bold and fundamental changes that will drive the organization's strategy going forward in such a way that we will be more impactful, we will get to be more involved in things that are happening in the skills development space in our country, and we will continue to be a valid member of our collaborators in the skills development space. Thank you so much. And I think we will get more detailed reports from the CEO, Sharon, as she gives you all the great detail that the team has been working on during the course of the year. Thank you, Program Director.
Andy, thank you so much for your address. Some challenging things ahead, thinking about ourselves as the youngest continent. I hear what you say.
Yeah, they are.
Is a thing. Jerry, I'm going to hand over to you, and you can take us through your feedback.
I do concur with the challenges that lie ahead of us. There are quite a few of them, and I must say, when I was putting my presentation together, it dawned on me that we have such a huge challenge in trying to bring the skills development landscape together. So yeah, let's start with. I have multiple presentations today, so let's start with my first one, and that will be my AGM report. And Andy, if you can just tell me if there are any questions.
Will do.
Okay, great. So how did our year go? Well, we did our strategic engagement from last year, and we had set some bold targets for ourselves. And when I started reflecting on because I hadn't been monitoring any of the statistics over the year, and I am actually pleasantly surprised at our outcomes for this year. I I had a little bit of a knot in my stomach when I started doing the report, thinking to myself that maybe we hadn't achieved the targets that we had set, and we had set targets that were a little bit out of our depth. And now I know that we actually can achieve the targets that we set for ourselves, and we should set slightly higher targets because we can actually achieve a lot more than we think we can achieve. So yeah, our team is going to be changing, as Thandi has alluded to you, and I'm sure you are now aware. I have resigned as the CEO, and I will be taking you through a little bit of a process. Andy has alluded as well that he is retiring, and we have dedicated quite a number of years. I haven't dedicated as much time as Andy has dedicated, but it is time for us to bring a little bit of diversity and change into the organization, and I'll explain all of that after we've given the initial address now. So let's go through who the team are currently, and then the changes. So currently, you have been introduced to Thandi as your chairperson of the board. Our current board at the moment is Yolandi Tui, it's Jonathan Brawns, Lerato Munyatsi, Morena Ritter, and Renee Howlett. So those are our board members. And then our current ExCo team is Andy Reinecker, it's Yolaine Kruger, it's Melanie Mulholland, Morena Ritter, Yolandi Tui, and myself. And Yolandi Tui is going to be the incoming CEO. Andy is the treasurer. Yolaine is the certification committee chairperson. Melanie Mulholland is our company secretary, and Morena Ritter is the stakeholder liaison. And just to explain a little bit about the changes in position. So at one stage last year, this was a very small team. It was just myself, Andy, Morena, and Melanie came on board as our company secretary. Initially, it was just the three of us. And Andy had multiple functions. So he was technical committee chairperson, he was certification committee chairperson, treasurer, and that becomes quite a huge responsibility when you are trying to juggle advocacy and lobbying and certification committee chairperson and treasury. So we've been wearing these multiple hats on a constant basis. So one of our focuses last year was to start looking at that diversity, getting some more people into our teams to expand and share the responsibilities. And as our members know, all of our committees that we have are all voluntary positions. So getting the right people onto these committees has been a challenge for us over the years. But we are slowly starting to get the right people that are volunteering for these positions. And I'm happy to say we're moving in the right direction. I'm really excited about the changes that are happening in the organization. The right team is around the table. We challenge each other, and that's good. You know, change is not easy in organizations, and there are resistances to change, but it's good resistance. So I'm happy with the way that we are moving. And this is just looking at the next level. So again, letting our members know that we are expanding further now. We're looking at our audit and risk committee. We are in the final stages of our audit and risk committee vetting of the 3 candidates down to 2 candidates, so that we can now look at corporate governance and putting in proper formal structures, and making sure that we are complying with all of the various company acts and various legislations that we need to comply with. Although we are doing that, all of us are doing that on a part-time basis. We want somebody to concentrate on that on a full-time basis. We have already appointed Mangalisa Madlala, who is now our HR committee chairperson, and he will make sure that we are doing everything correctly from a contract perspective. So, you know, performance-based issues, any member appeals, complaints, those kinds of things, or any compliments that we need to also put forward or deal with. We would like to also celebrate those people that are serving for us and that our members you know, send us compliments for, and we do get those on a regular basis. We like to expand our assessor and verifier base, and advise our members that if you have, if you're an external contractor and you have all the relevant knowledge and experience, please put your expression of interest in with us and let us know that you're available to serve, and engage with Yolaine regarding that. So the support staff, I think you're all aware of them. We did introduce a new position as well. This was a paid position. So the LGC to projects have given us that opportunity to have that extra funding where we in previous years we didn't have that money, and that is thanks to the exceptionally hard work of Andy Reineke and Jonathan Brawns, submitting all those I don't know if they're called tenders or request for an opportunity to retain the work for the LGC projects, but we have been awarded those projects now from 2021 to 2024, and those have yielded extra finances for us to now start these automation processes, because getting funding from people as donations has not been successful for us. So we've had to work to get that money in for all of these automation processes. And so when we had the opportunity to now employ somebody to actually engage with our members, that has yielded us even further insight into how our members are behaving, what they feel we are delivering from a member benefits perspective. And I'll go into a little bit more as we go down, but that has yielded an immense amount of information for us on, are we delivering what you want us to deliver? Have we checked the right boxes? Have we given you everything that you need? And that's important for me. We've also cleaned up our database, and Danielle has started a couple of her own initiatives. So I'm very happy to announce that we've started, implementing those kinds of things. And that is important. We want to be a member-centric organization, making sure that we are delivering back to our members. So, yeah, and we do have to have a look at some of our long time. I'm actually not even sure when Tracy started. I'd like to know. Andy, maybe if you can just allude to when Tracy started with us. Do you know?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
I am.
It was,
yeah,
Andy, it was just after me, so it was 2015.
So 2015. I'd like to, at this point, yes, 2015. Yeah. So Tracy Finikak is our accounts and bookkeeping person. A lot of our members don't actually get to see Tracy working diligently and very hard in the background. Tracy and Kristen are the people that make sure that the funds are coming into our organization on a regular basis, and they are the ones that diligently make sure that we are ticking over quietly and everything gets done in the background. Angelique is also one of those people in the background that make sure that the systems are working and operating efficiently and effectively for our members. And if anything is going wrong, they're the ones that are making sure that it gets fixed and sorted out. So Tracy has resigned as our bookkeeping and accounts person, and we've got a succession plan in place for Tracy and for Kristen. But at this point, I'd like to just mention that we are very grateful for all of the hard work that Tracy has assisted with us with over the 8 years that she has been our external contractor on the bookkeeping and accounts side. Without her input and her work and her diligence and the finance reports that are always first in, or first or second in to our inboxes, I would just like to say a very big thank you to her team for always being there to support us from an accounting and finance perspective. And I'd like to let you know that she also does the LGC project. If I'm not mistaken, she was key in getting all of the administration done for those projects from a finance and accounting perspective. So she's been involved in a lot of projects along the way. So thank you very much, Tracy, for all of your hard work and diligence over the last 8 years for the organization. It has been a pleasure to work with you and your team. We'll do some introductions with regards to our regional committees as well. But moving on to our regional committees. So we have expanded this team very nicely. We have our Gauteng, our Free State, our Garden Route, our Northern Cape, our Western Cape, our KZN teams in place. But we've now added Eastern Cape, which is Ntombi Bart. I unfortunately don't have a headshot of Ntombi, but she's already joined our regional committee, and we're busy vetting our, if I'm not mistaken, our Limpopo regional committee chairperson. And we've now established a regional committee head of all the committees that is now engaging and speaking about all of the lobbying and advocacy that is happening at a committee level. And we're even looking at whether the members want us to bring back face-to-face meetings, because it seems like that is the case. So we're trying to engage on that level with the CETA forums in the various regions, and trying to find out what's happening in the regions, what's the major skills development initiative, and trying to look at how we can leverage off those initiatives. What do we need to do in those various areas? Bring them back to us, speak to your regional committee head. And it's imperative that you're on those meetings as regional committee heads. If you can volunteer for those committees, please do that. And we try and say, if you can volunteer for, like the Gauteng chair is, at the moment, there's only a Gauteng chairperson. We need a vice chair to assist her. If you've got venues to volunteer for us, you know, free of charge, please do that for us, because we are a volunteer organization, and the more we can have people donating for us and volunteering venues for us, that makes our jobs a lot easier. So this team of people are an amazing group of people, and they work tirelessly in the background. And I do thank you all for your contribution. And I've sat in on a couple of those regional meetings. We feed back the information from an exco level and a board level to our soldiers on the ground, as I would call them, and they take all of this information back to their members, and they are the team that also come up with what the burning issues are currently, and decide on what webinars are going to be spoken about next. And Angelique will then engage with them and get everything working in the background and make sure all the marketing goes out for it. So it's an interesting team that makes sure everything happens. And then Elaine, that sits on the certification committee, will decide if perhaps we need to have a look at extra designations, or do we need to change our designations because something is changing in the landscape. So it is a very complex process that happens in the background. It's not a very simple process, and that's why we are always looking for people to engage with us and come and join us on the team. I see that there's something in the chat group, Andy. Is there a question?
Just welcoming to Ntombi, who's joined us.
Excellent. Yes, welcome, Ntombi. Welcome to the team. Then our support team. So Danielle has joined us, and Angelique, just so that everybody knows what they look like, because you don't get the opportunity to speak to them. I'd also like to let you know that shortly after our AGM, we've put a little bit of money into relaunching and doing a new look on our website. So hopefully within the next week or so, we'll be relaunching our website with a new look to it. And we're going to be adding to that. And we're also going to be doing two things. Number one, we're going to be doing a closed website for members only. So there'll be like a login access. And we're also looking at how we can automate our payment system. So that's going to be one thing that we're going to be looking at going forward. We almost got to the point of signing up a automated membership system, but unfortunately the supplier let us down. So we are still on the search for that. But at the moment, you've got Danielle, who is our member liaison, and Angelique has dual functions. She's the marketing and systems officer, and she's the designation liaison. So she handles all of your designations, and she's doing a fantastic job. And she also assists with the LG CETA program. Right, so let's talk designations, members and designation trends. So when I saw how we had increased our members from 332 to 370, I was very pleased to see that we had increased our members by 11%. I mean, our country is not growing very much when it comes to our GDP, but we still managed to increase our members by 11%. Our designations, a fantastic increase from 9% last year to 71% this year. That is an amazing increase. So I am extremely pleased to see that the work that we've done with regards to awareness around designations and understanding, getting our members to understand the importance of designations and why they're so important, that I think has been a very big win for us. You know, I think a lot of members didn't understand that without the presence of a qualification, a designation takes the place of that. And that's as simple as it is. it was one of the reasons I joined ASDSA, was because I didn't have a formal qualification. I've been working towards that my whole life, is to get that master's in business administration, or that elusive qualification that you want to work towards. And that's what skills development is all about, as far as I'm concerned, is continual professional development. And that's where you get it, is in the professional body space. And I feel our organization does that across a range of different industries. It does in the skills development, like skills development professionals, but it touches on so many other industries as well. A little bit on HR, a little bit on learning and development, a little bit on skills development providers, but it's got that element of triple BEE in it, and employment equity, and so much more, because we also have that legislative element in it as well. So it's such a diverse organization that it just doesn't lend itself to one element. And that's the reason why we are looking at that expansion so heavily. So very, very well done to the team. I think it was a huge team effort this year, and all of the changes that we had made were bold, but they were so worth it, because this slide tells me that everything that we did this year was 100% on point with regards to the changes we made. So well done, team. Members' issues raised from our survey. So I'm going to be 110% honest with our members. I have not finished the survey results yet, but I did want to share the members' issues that were raised from the surveys, because that for me is also, it's one of the most important things. It's the usual things like, we need to have a singular platform for our seaters. We need to make sure that we are speaking about the issues. The scarce and critical skills are skewed. The hard to fill vacancies are skewed. The platform is not uniform from one seater to the next seater. We're not getting answers from some of the seaters, but there are seaters that are working correctly. So we know what these issues are. We have tried and tested this formula out. So I'm sure you saw that there was a change in how we put the survey out this year. So myself and Morena sat down and we tried to change the survey so that it wasn't exactly the same as last year. And that was our thinking this year, was that if we were doing everything the same way and expecting different results, it wasn't going to work. So we changed the survey slightly. And we're going to change our approach to this survey as well. What we're going to do is we're going to turn all of your comments. Hopefully Andy is going to help me with this, because he doesn't even know that I've got this as one of the things that I'm going to do, because I'm like that. I just decide things and then I try and run with them. But I think what we should do is we should take these and we should turn it into a position statement, and then maybe into a position paper, and then we should send it out and say, and publish it, and say, these are the issues that we're having, and really drill down into these and send them out for comment, or share them with as many industry partners as we can. Send them to our MOU organizations, send them out to corporate, send them out to whoever we can that will listen, because I think that they need to know that these are the issues. And send it to SACRA, send it to DHET, send it to DOEL, send it to the National Youth Development Agency, anybody that will listen and see what the issues are that we are facing on the ground. I think that's the new thing that we need to do. But it will be also for this new team to understand how they're going to share this information. So those are my suggestions. It will be the members that will also say what's going to happen with our issues that we raised. And we'll take it forward with the board and the team that are going to be putting it out there. We know what we need to do. It just needs to get done. So let's look at our strategic objectives. We have a set amount of, we've always had our set: grow, build, establish, recognize, and develop. I mean, that's been our core strategic objectives. What we're going to do is we have a planned strategic session in January 2024, where the board members are going to do a very in-depth strategic session. And what they're going to have a look at is they're going to look at this member feedback that we've got, the demographic that we've just had a look at. And I will give you feedback that 30% of our members are actually skills development professionals. 30% of them are actually HR professionals. Another 30% of them are in the learning and development space, which is skills development providers, training providers, L&D managers at corporate companies. So 90% of our members are 3 completely separate demographic of members. The other 10% is made up of TVET lecturers, professors. Some of them are CEOs of organizations. Some of them are external consultants, but in the EE space or triple BEE space. It's a very interesting dynamic. So what I've seen is that we have a very wide variety of members. We don't just have skills development professionals. And I think we need to have a look at how we are engaging with our members. And that planning session is going to be centered around the different types of members that we have and what we are offering to each of those segmented kinds of members. And I think it's a long overdue planning session that we look at the member and the benefit to that specific type of member and how we integrate it into the organization. I think that's going to be key for us. And then we'll plan workshops for CPD around each of those segmented members. I do believe that skills development providers, skills development professionals, HR managers, learning and development managers, professionals need to work very much hand in hand, because the process basically starts with the HR department that feeds information into the training department, that feeds information into the skills development professional. Those 3 departments have to work pretty much hand in hand. So if they're not speaking to each other and cooperating and sharing information, and the information is flowing, they cannot work on that career pathway. So I think that we need to look at how we're going to workshop around those going forward in the future. So that's a nice, interesting topic for us to be looking at our planning for next year. And I think that it's important that we have chambers of information, because we have so many stakeholders that we deal with. Our QCTO, our CETAs, our FET colleges are becoming a very big focus that nobody seems to want to actually engage with from a professional body perspective. Our training providers, our HRE, employment equity and BEE consultants are a huge part of how we report. The premiers forums that seem to be very important, but we don't seem to get much feedback from them. So I think we need to have a look at how we are engaging on that side. And then again, the Department of Higher Education, Department of Labor, Department of Trade and Industry. I think those are other industries that, or other governmental organizations that we need to be engaging with. And, you know, all of this is part of the plan to have a look at the expansive scope of that skills development landscape. I've always maintained that the landscape is not just a skills development facilitator or practitioner. I have always maintained that it's much wider than that. So I think we have now actually discovered that by looking at the demographic of our member, it's telling us that that is exactly what we have in our landscape. So we'll
Sharon,
look at, yes.
So just a comment from Sylvia Hammond about demographics. She's saying, please remember that some members will fall into more than one category.
That is exactly what I found as well. I had to, so we will share that full report once it's done. I will send everything out. We've got some of our members actually are multifunctional. They are an HR manager and a learning and development manager and a skills development practitioner. So they are multifunctional. I have found that a lot of them are all 3, or they will be a generalist. I think that there's a huge opportunity for us to even have a generalist designation, which is very important for us to discuss, because that person, and I'm actually one of those people, I do in my organization as a small business, and that's a trend that's going forward now, where a lot of small businesses, and there are multiple small businesses in our organization that are not being catered to. So I am the SDF, I'm the HR manager, I do all the industrial relations, I do external and internal, so I do the accountant. So I'm doing all the multiple functions for multiple organizations, more than 3 or 4. So all small scale, but I'm also dealing with 3 or 4 different CETAs. So the amount of knowledge that I have to get myself up to speed on is just, it's overwhelming. So we need to have a look at how we can assist those, that group of people. I think they're not getting the support that they need. So very important. Thank you, Sylvia. That was a point well taken. All right, so I think that's going to be a key focus going forward, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. Right, then looking at just the strategic direction again, it will be the lobbying and advocacy. I think that is going to be a key element. The continual improvement of our professional designations, that is something that we continue to work on. And in fact, I know that some of the other professional bodies often phone us and ask us for input. I get that from time to time from SIPT and from SIOSH. They will phone me, and Institute for Working at Heights are the three organizations that will phone me and ask me for some input. And then value add to our members, we continue looking at how we can expand that to our members. So that these are ongoing strategic directions. But in that plenary session that will happen in January, I won't be there, unfortunately. But I have full faith that our team is going to be absolutely brilliant when they look at what we're going to do over the next 5 years. And then the professional recognition of practitioners in the skills development landscape, CPD programs, workshops, I think that needs to be expanded as well, looking at each of the different sectors that we are speaking to, specifically as well, the SMME sector. And then what we set out to do in 2023, as you can see, sorry, I had left out one little part there. We have been applying for funding for skills development programs from 2022. We continued that on into 2023, and that's why our LGC programs were so important for us. It was important for us to have the funding from the LGC programs so that we could actually start capacitating the ASDSA. We've expanded our CPD program, we've automated it. I have tried to seek a corporate social investment partner. It has not materialized. I just don't think I'm speaking to the right people. So if anybody has anybody that they can recommend, I ask this every year, please don't hesitate to send their number my way, even if it is anonymously via WhatsApp. I'm quite happy to speak to them directly. I'm not shy. Expand on our upskilling through workshops. We've spoken about that extensively. Our automation at the moment is we're starting our licensing. Angelique works on our automation from a Zoho perspective, but what we had actually wanted to do was actually move over to a proper membership platform where the member would log in and have their own portal where all of their information and documentation would be obtained in their own login portfolio, and it would be very similar to an SABPP or other professional bodies. And we were almost at the point of signing that contract, but unfortunately around about August, September this year, it didn't materialize, and it was very sad for us not to be able to have that happen, but unfortunately these things do happen. Very happy to announce that Morena Ritter was appointed to I think it was the board of the NADAP board. So she now sits on an artisan NADAP board where we report and engage directly with the DHET on an artisan board, so that we now have a seat at the table and we are engaging directly. And Morena has been working tirelessly on that. So very well done to Morena for that. And our planning and strategic sessions for lobbying and advocacy. So what we've done here is, with regards to lobbying and advocacy, Andy had come up with a really good idea to start what we call position statements, and then develop these position statements into position papers, and then develop those position papers into hopefully best practices. So when we've got some burning issues, we develop those position papers, we send them through our executive committee, we send them through our board, and everybody has a chance to comment on them. And I don't know, Andy, if you circulate them through our regional committee team as well, but those then get sent to all of our team, so that they have so that we have this this clear line of communication when it comes to a position statement or a position paper, and we are all speaking with a unified voice. And that was the reason why we had started the position papers and the position statements. And also, if it was things like, and one of the position papers and position statements was around the historical qualifications and the end of those compliance-based trainings. And we've taken that quite far forward and managed to get the QCTO now to come up with the regulatory skills programs. And so that position statement became a position paper that ended up with us actually getting an appointment with the QCTO and discussing how we could get around the unit standards falling away. I've now been co-opted onto an H&WC working group, and we're currently working on the regulated skills programs for the occupational health and safety space. I'm also on a working group for the transport sector, and we're working on the regulated skills program for the transport sector as well. And I'm also, myself and Yolandi, as the incoming CEO, we're both subject matter experts now for the QCTO, working on how we can better engage with regards to all of these different unit standards and regulatory skills programs. And so the QCTO has registered us as subject matter experts. So that position statement has made a huge difference going forward, and we definitely shouldn't stop those kinds of things happening. I think that's it was a very key change to how we did things from a lobbying and advocacy perspective. Okay. All right. Yeah, we've gone through quite a bit of what we did in 2023. We did continue with our virtual events, webinars, workshops, and I will tell you that I don't want to report on numbers, but technically we had virtual events every single month. We had workshops in between all of those virtual events. We had webinars in between those. We had conversations every 2 weeks. If not, one or two of them were cancelled. And on top of that, we still had CEO engagements every couple of weeks towards the end of the year. So you can see that the engagement with our members it's extensive. If we had any keynote speakers at any of those events, those were added to the event. So engagement with our members, we try to keep that as high level as we possibly can. And I think a lot of the feedback that we got from our survey was that the members were very happy that artificial intelligence was a hot topic, because that is a hot topic at the moment. Everybody is speaking about it. It's being utilized in business quite a bit. And a lot of people are asking how we can use it in skills development. So I think that's a very important point. The stakeholder engagement has been very interactive from a QCTO perspective. We're trying to still engage from a SACRA perspective. National School of Government, we're not finding much assistance from that, and we've successfully now at the seat of the DHET, and Morena is doing her work in the background there. We've done plenty of serving on the SACRA committees, and we engage from a multi-seater perspective. Like I said, our provincial forum engagements, I think the guys up in the Northern Cape have got quite an aggressive provincial forum presence, but we don't really have a huge provincial forum presence other than the Western Cape and the Northern Cape. So I think the regionals will start looking at how they can engage more from a provincial forum perspective. Okay. NADA board appointment was already mentioned. And then the streamlining and automation of our systems we've already alluded to. The LGC project for this current financial year was a 1.8 million rand awarded project to capacitate and build our SDFs for the LGC sector. And we have just started that process. I think it kicked off in April or May. Is that right, Andy?
Yes, around about that time.
Okay. And it will finish in June of next year.
Correct.
And then just from a corporate governance perspective, we've completed our handbook. We are almost finalizing our QMS. I'll be completing that in December this year. Terms of references for all our committees have been implemented, and our board charter has been completed. We're now going to take it to the next level with our audit and risk committee. All right. Then member development. So instead of us having all of our engagement sessions, Angelique has come up with a way to engage with our members via videos. So a lot of our member engagement sessions have been automated with videos, and she's put these on YouTube. I don't know if the CPD workshops have been done in or have been created into videos yet. I think you're still doing the CPD workshops, aren't you, Andy?
And no, in fact, both of the regular workshops that we
Have
were
been
running, which
okay.
is the portfolio building workshop and the CPD workshop, are now available as a series of short videos.
There we go.
So you don't have to wait until the workshop comes around to go and get some briefing on what you need to do. You can
Perfect.
go at any stage to our website and you'll
Yes.
find these videos are available to you.
And are YouTube, they're on YouTube as well, is that correct?
They are on YouTube, so our website will give you a link that will take you to YouTube where you can view them.
Yeah, so please go and have a look at our website and our YouTube. Click on the link to go to the YouTube video, so you don't have to wait anymore to go and see how to do your CPD points. It's all already automated. So thank you, Angelique, for all of those initiatives. Then something that we have started as well this year was we got the opportunity to engage with the IYF, which is the International Youth Foundation, and we have done a first of its kind in South Africa. It's a partnership between the International Youth Foundation, De Beers, and the TVET colleges. So the TVET lecturers do not have, they have a professional body, but their professional body was not interested in awarding them CPD points on unaccredited training programs. So the ASDSA decided to put its hand up and say we would do this. We would vet the programs and we would award CPD points for the programs, for the 4 programs that the TVET college lecturers needed. And we went through the vetting process. They are now a registered program provider for the ASDSA, well, on behalf of the ASDSA, and they can award these CPD points for the TVET lecturers. And I flew up to Limpopo and we launched the program with De Beers and IYF for the 2 TVET colleges up in Limpopo a couple of months ago. So I think it was in September or October, if I'm not mistaken. And it was an extremely successful program. And I can tell you that the accolades that are coming out of this program, they really are trying to take the TVET lecturer from where they currently are and trying to expand their knowledge and in their engagement with the learners, and really trying to upskill them and get the level of expertise of the TVET lecturer to a completely new level. And the TVET lecturer I saw in the Limpopo area are taking it very seriously. So it was extremely motivational for me to see how important they felt these programs to be. And I am trying to negotiate with the IYF that the ASDSA designated members get access to these programs for free if we can, but that is still in the pipeline. If we can get it done, that would be great. If we couldn't, it's still in the negotiation phases. So yeah, that's our member development. Then we still have our MOUs in place with SABPP and APED. There has been a change at APED. I know that Cynthia Reinders has resigned as the CEO, and they're currently in the process of looking for a new CEO. And then everybody is aware of the Parktown Declaration, and if you're not, please don't hesitate to ask us to circulate this for you. Then we're going to also start engaging with the Institute of Consulting, the Chartered Management Institute, and City and Guilds. These are 3 international organizations that Jill had actually engaged with when she started the organization. And I had intended to reach out this year to these organizations, and may still do this before the end of the year, so that I can hand over to Yolandi, because I think that it's important that we start looking at international best practices. And I think that this is going to be the wave of the future, especially with, the artificial intelligence. It's going to be important for us to look at international best practices and start incorporating those into our organization and just seeing what is happening from an international perspective. So that's something that we're going to look at, and hopefully Yolandi will continue this. It's very important that we also look at the alignment to the National Qualifications Framework. There are a lot of changes that are happening in the landscape. And the QCTO is, we've got exiting historical qualifications and we've got incoming occupational certificates. So I think moving into next year, I will definitely be around to do a couple of workshops for the ASDSA on the changes that happen as they are happening, because as we're doing these workshops for the programs that we're doing, the regulatory skills programs now, as we complete them, I will keep ASDSA in the loop as to which programs are being launched, when they're going to be launched, what's going to be launched and at which level, and how they're going to tie into the compliance-based programs, and what the time span is going to be. There's going to also be different elements that are going to come in for the regulatory skills programs. And another question that came up in the survey was, what's happening with the facilitators, assessors, and moderators? How they're going to be tying back in? How are we going to quantify the subject matter experts? So I think that's another key element that we need to have a look at for the 2024 year. But there is also a lot of talk around the skills programs. What's happening with the skills programs? Are they aligning to the National Qualifications Framework? Are they going to be uploaded to the NLRD? Lots of things happening in this space. So I think we'll keep a close eye on the alignment to the National Qualifications Framework and keep you up to date there. Our OFO organizing for framework for occupations. So there is a need for us to have a look at the new occupational certificates and how these new qualifications that are being developed align to the OFO codes, and our designations and how they align to the new occupational qualifications. So I think that's something that we need to look at going forward. I have already identified a couple that links to our specific designations. So if you have a look at at my next slide, I have already identified OFO codes that link to our professional designations at those levels. But I think it would be a very nice working group for us to actually have maybe a workshop one day to unpack and see what else they have there, because there's a number of occupational, not qualifications, but part qualifications that are linked to workplace-based learning practitioner, for example. So that's just to mention one that I have seen. So unpacking those would be quite interesting, and see where they land. Do they have credits linked to them? Are they going to be uploaded to the National Learner Records database? What do they mean for our industry? All right. Then I just like to go over, I'm going to go over this very quickly because I don't want to hold us up too long, but and the presentation will be circulated. Just to go over again our benefits of having a professional designation, benefits for employers. And I like to reiterate on this. It's one thing that I say to our consultants know this, and they always speak to their clients about it. But one of the things that I like to reiterate about a professional designation is competence. So when you are employing somebody in your organization that has a professional designation, you have the assurance that the person has competence and they are committed to their profession. So that's one thing that I think is a key element of a professional designation. Benefits for practitioners, just from a practitioner perspective, and I've seen it with us engaging with our members now, the engagement feedback from our members is that they want to be taken seriously as practitioners. They are looking at developing their own career pathways. This is a key element that's coming out of the feedback from our members, is ASDSA is helping me to develop my career pathway. They're helping me to professionalize myself, and they are continually helping to develop me, giving me a good basis. So I thought that was quite interesting, because when we started the engagement session with members, I thought that there would be a lot more negativity to the engagement session, but it was a lot more positive than I thought. So our members think the thought process from our members is that we are sharing a lot of information. We give networking opportunities for skills development practitioners to actually network with each other. So if one person needs information, they have the opportunity to network with somebody else to gain a little bit of information from that other person. So we do that really well at the ASDSA. And I'm really proud of that we are able to connect professionals with each other, that you can share your expertise. And that's a key element in a professional body. I think that is important, that practitioners can share their knowledge with each other and grow and develop each other through those engagements. So that is one of the reasons why we have the ASDSA, is to have that ability to access other practitioners in the organization, because one practitioner will have a speciality area, but another practitioner will have a different speciality area, and that leverage off each other is key. So I'm really proud to see those things coming out. I'm going to be doing a very detailed report. I didn't want to share it today. I was going to include it, but it's so detailed that it's better for me to rather do a separate report and send it out to all of our members. Then benefits of our membership. Everybody is aware of what our current benefits are. The things that have come out of our member engagement is that the members are looking for a quarterly newsletter. That was the one key element that came out that was different. Everything else, you are pretty much happy with what we are doing, but you would like to see some kind of quarterly newsletter coming from us. So I think we will take cognizance of that and give that to you if we can. Everybody is aware that you can go onto the website and you can type in SAQA 493 and our skills development technician will come up, and that is what you will see, the first part of it. Again, our skills development practitioner, if you type SAQA 494, that will come up. And our skills development master is SAQA 770. And for those of you that don't know, I think it is SAQA 866. Is it 866 or 899? I think it's 866 is our professional designation registration number, or professional body registration number. Okay, so for any of you that would like to ever go and have a look on the website for professional bodies, you can just download the list of professional bodies. Right, certification process is very, very easy, all automated on our website at the moment. Thanks to our brilliant Angelique that does all of our automation for us. And hopefully soon we will have that member automation platform in place. This is our benefits to CPD. It gives us time to reflect. We like to have a very big mix of CPD points. So we don't like to have just studying or just reading or research. We like a mix of knowledge and expertise. We want to see that you've done a couple of different types of CPD. But I think introducing CPD workshops is a very good idea. So we try to do that through our workshops and help you gain those CPD points. The CPD process, everybody is aware of this as we have our videos out on the website. Please go and have a look at those.
Sharon, just a question from Puti.
Yes.
Question, is it beneficial to be a member of both SABPP and ASDSA? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, the thoughts are yes, I'm a member of both. One, because ASDSA is skills development, and we concentrate mostly on the skills development side. SABPP is HR practitioners, and they concentrate mostly on the HR practitioner side. And those two areas are completely separate focus areas, but they complement each other. So that's why you should actually belong to both. I actually belong to 5 different professional bodies because I have 5 different areas of speciality. So if you want to take your profession seriously, sometimes you do have to have multiple professional designations. And unfortunately, a lot of the professional bodies won't do MOUs where you get discounts in professional designations. I just feel that if I'm going to take myself seriously, I don't have all of those qualifications. I only have some of them. So professional designations gives my clients the the assurance that I'm taking myself seriously as a professional, if that answers your question. Okay. This is just our CPD record card. So if that person could just give me a thumbs up to say that I answered that question correctly. Are you happy with that?
I can't tell.
Okay.
That was a good answer.
Okay. All right. So our CPD record card. Thank you for the thumbs up. I got it. All right. And then we do auditing of 10% of our CPD record cards annually. And that is a requirement of SACWA. We don't have a choice in doing that. And so we do a random auditing sample of our CPD record cards. And yeah, if you have any questions about those, you're welcome to send it through to us, but it is quite well laid out and most of our members know about it. We're very serious about our code of conduct. Everybody knows that once you sign up with the ASDSA, the first thing that you will need to do is sign and tick our code of conduct, which is downloadable as well. On the new website, we'll be making that code of conduct available for you to download straight from the website as well. So yes, we've been working quite a bit on our code of conduct, and we do take that seriously. We've had a couple of instances of misconduct, and the Audit and Risk Committee and HR Committee will be dealing with any codes of misconduct. It's being spoken about at the QCTO now that they will be holding SDPs, SDFs, practitioners, anybody that is not doing things the right way as far as the QCTO is concerned. They will be holding people accountable. Okay. Disciplinary process. We have a full disciplinary process in place. It will be available on the website as soon as our new website is up. We have put our policy on the website, and we will put our grievance and disciplinary process on the website as well. Critical skills. This is currently under review at the moment because the Department of Home Affairs has put out a new regulation and changed the list of critical skills that you can award critical skills letters for. So we'll be sharing that with our members as soon as we've done the review. Then, technical committee or volunteers for the current year coming up. We are still looking for volunteers for technical committee, regional committees, and verifiers and evaluators. And as everybody knows, the verifiers and evaluators, these are paid positions. Okay. And then I would just like to say to my team, to all the volunteers, to the committees, and everybody that I've worked with this year, it has been a very long and trying year. We've had a lot of changes. We've changed the systems up quite a bit. We've challenged and pushed each other, probably to everybody's limits, but I wouldn't have done anything any differently because the results that we have come to at the end of this year have been phenomenal. I think that we have grown and developed and changed, but for me, for the better. So yeah, I think it has been a phenomenal year. And I think the changes that are going to be coming out of the changes that we have made are going to make this organization phenomenal going forward into 2024. I have felt a fundamental shift in how the industry and other role players in the industry are perceiving us as ASDSA. And when I engage with people now, they're like, oh, Sharon from ASDSA. And I never used to get that before. So I can honestly say we are starting to make some serious inroads in the industry and people are starting to notice us. And I think that that is a huge win for us. I think the hard work is coming from not only the team, but the members as well. I think you are making a huge contribution to industry, and I think that is making a huge difference. It's not just us getting the message out there. I think our members are getting the message out there as well. And I think that is key. It's not just us actually shouting it from the rafters, it's our members as well. So that for me, that is amazing. So yeah, just thank you to everybody for all your support. And yeah, that is me. Any questions?
Nothing coming through. Just a comment from Felicity. I say the team have been amazing this year. Thank you. Looking forward to more engagement in 2024.
Okay, no
Any
problem.
other questions or comments from our members that you'd like Sharon to address?
And it can be an open mic if they would like. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so let's move on. What is our time span? It's
Oh,
20
sorry,
past 11.
question from Michael Tiger. Who
Yes.
is allowed to join the WhatsApp group?
Only members in good standing.
Which means that if you don't pay your bill, you lose your status on the WhatsApp.
And
So
I
please
will
pay.
say, yes, I will say to you, we are brutal when it comes to, I am not going to be, I'm not going to even sugarcoat it. We are brutal when it comes to that WhatsApp group. You don't pay your fees in that first month that you are lapsed, you're off that group. That is how we work, because that group is our biggest marketing tool and our biggest source of information. And we share tons of information on that group. That group is our biggest work that we put into the ASDSA, and I'm sure everybody understands how much work goes into that group. We sit sometimes till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning putting information onto that group, and it can be attested if you have a look at the times that Morena sits at night putting information onto that group. So that is why we are as brutal as we are with regards to, and I will attest to the fact that we will remove you off in the first month that you are a lapsed member, and we give you 3 months to pay your membership before we actually terminate you, which I think is reasonable. It's very reasonable. So you have 3 months that you don't have to pay the administration fee again to become a member, and you become a lapsed member for 3 months. So you've got 3 months chance to go back onto the WhatsApp group. And then once your 3 months is up, you become a terminated member. We phone you, we email you, and that's all the work that Angelique and Danielle and Tracy do in the background. So you get several emails. That's why your information must be correct as well with us. If you change emails, please let us know. It's very important. If you change cell phone numbers, please let us know. Those things are so important. And Kapodi, I think it's Simon and Kapodi, you've got your hand raised.
Kapoi's actually typed in the question, which is, how can we apply to become a volunteer for the technical committee?
So all you need to, okay, so in Kapodi, all you need to do is you send an email to members at ASDSA, request an expression of interest form for that specific committee, and complete it and send it into us.
And then the Tlotlo says, how can I get one added, because not on the WhatsApp group? We'll ask Angelique to get back to you on that.
Yes.
Can I chirp in there, Annie?
Yes.
So when you receive your membership certificate, on that email, there is a link to join the WhatsApp group.
Yes. So please, members, on your receiving email for your membership, there is a link to join the WhatsApp group. If you're not able to join that, you can just email either info or members at ASDSA, and our ladies will gladly assist you.
And I see also a comment from Morena.
Yes.
I also please want to add that ASDSA, as from November, sits on the Cape Chamber Business Environment Portfolio Committee, focusing on skills development matters.
Wow. Well done,
okay.
Morena.
Well done, Morena.
So we are really trying to get onto all of those committees and engage as much as we possibly can. We have figured that the business chambers are going to be the next area that we're going to focus on, because we feel like corporate is where we need to focus now, and we're going to get onto all the business chambers. So Cape Chamber, Durban Chamber, Johannesburg Chamber. Cape Chamber was the first one. Morena, well done. I just wanted to share before we move into the last part. I think it is important to just share one slide with you. So this is from a previous presentation that I presented to board, and it's all about career pathways. I think that this is very important for us to remember, is that the career pathways that we need to work on it's critical. It's a critical part of skills development, and not that we just look at the workplace skills plan reporting and your annual training reports and your WSPs. You've got to look at where it starts and how it ends, and that cycle, the entire cycle, so that the learning the training that gets done is not just training that the employer is doing to check boxes and to make sure that he's getting his return on investment because he's paying a skills development levy. I think that is such a critical part of how we need to go forward with the message to the employers. I know sometimes the employers get frustrated because they're submitting workplace skills plans and they're not getting that return on investment. But I think the key that we need to look at is just changing that dynamic a little bit more and looking at how can we talk career pathways? How can we improve the skill of the worker? And not just have that checkbox exercise. Okay, we must do communication training this year, or we must do this. If we can get a more efficient, productive worker, an employee, I think we will raise our game so much more. So I just wanted to mention that one thing. And then the second thing that I wanted to go back to was just having a look at the changes that are going to now happen in our organization. So I wanted to just share with you our reporting lines in the organization so that you are aware of what our reporting lines are at the ASDSA. So we have our board, our chairperson of the board, the CEO. I have resigned officially, and my last working day will be the 31st of December, 2023. And Yolandi Tui, who has been a board member of the ASDSA and a member since, I think, 2015, if I'm not mistaken, or 2016. I didn't even actually know this, but she was recruited by myself when I was the KZN chairperson. We only realized that a while, recently. So it's nice to know that my succession planning was somebody that had been recruited by myself. Then we've got our regional head, Angela, our stakeholder liaison, company secretary, treasurer, Andy, and then marketing is also Yolandi Tui, certification committee is Yulaine. So that's our top structure and our reporting lines at the moment. Then our next step down is our executive committee. CEO will be taken over by Yolandi now. She has already actually stepped into that position officially. It has been ratified by board. And we're now going to have this new structure at the executive committee level, which is going to be HR, Mangaliso Madlala, Andy, stakeholder liaison, Melanie. Lorato was our certification committee person from board that Yulaine has taken over from, Yolandi, and then the audit and risk committee, there will be 2 people put in that place so we can look at succession planning. And then underneath that is our tier of support structure, which is Angelique, Tracy as the bookkeeper. As soon as our AGM is finished now, myself and the team will look at our succession planning for Tracy, because Tracy also ends on the 31st of December. And then we will look at succession planning for Treasury. And as we go, as Andy is transitioning out of the organization, and hopefully not too quickly, we will look at the technical committee and all of those. But I really want to make sure that it's a slow transition out of technical committee, because that's a very important committee. And then we've got our designation liaison. And as you can see, Angelique has that dual function of marketing and systems officer and designation liaison. And then we've got our member liaison, Danielle, and then project liaison, which is Jonathan. Okay. And then I thought it would be interesting for our members to see all of our board members and elected members and what our demographic is. So female to male is 78 to 22% and 44% transformed. Our female to male is 22 to 78%, 55% transformed, and 11% disability. Then on the regions, it's 36% transformation, 78% female, 18% male. And as you can see, lots of vacancies on our region. So please, definitely looking for more volunteers here. These are contracted providers. We've got our resignation from Tracy here. Okay. And we also report on the BEE level status here. Okay.
Sharon,
so that was...
There is a question
yes.
from again. It says, do we then have a tool to measure ROI for the employer?
So we don't actually employ anybody. Everybody is on a contractual and volunteer basis. But what we are doing now with our HR committee is Mangaliso will be doing return on investment from a contractor basis, and he will be doing reporting on that side. Yes. So that is why we are putting formal structures in place now. And at your next AGM, Mangaliso will be reporting on all our return on investment. So thank you for that question.
And there's a follow-up question. My question is based around the full circle of the WSP ATR.
Okay. So return on investment, are you talking about return on investment from a workplace skills plan perspective on WSP or ATR, or is it worth it for us to be actually submitting workplace skills plans, return on investment?
Yeah.
It's a loaded question.
It's a big question. Elaine is commenting, I think, ROI for the member's employer, and then Tlotlo again for an efficiency point of view.
Okay, so I think from an efficiency point of view, I can categorically say the return on investment is not. I don't think the return on investment is. Sure, it's a loaded question again. Some people would say the return on investment is good. Some people would say no. So I'm going to speak from my experience. Personally,
sorry, Sharon, can I comment? I think that what I'm
yes.
hearing from Tlotlo is a question around, is there a tool that the Asdsa can suggest for ROI from the employer? And we don't internally have a best practice model that we would suggest that the learning and development professionals use. It could be, in fact, something that we should give thought to, because, you know, part of what we want to do as a professional body is assist members with best practice models. So that's a very good thought, Tlotlo.
Yeah. So in Tlotlo, I actually do a Excel spreadsheet for myself on an annual basis for all the companies that I assist with WSPs, where I check what their return on investment is from a WSP perspective. So I check exactly what they pay in SDL. I check what they pay in training fees, and I check what they pay, what they get back. And I look at the differences between those major figures. And I look at their return on investment from a capacitation perspective. And I look at, has the employee increased their performance? So I do a percentage of, so a before and an after training percentage. So, you know, the impact of the training, and the return on investment from that perspective is definitely worth it. There are tools that you can use. There are downloadable free tools on the internet that you can look at from a WSP perspective to look at, if that answers your question. So I look at two aspects. I look at the financial side. Was it worth it for us to actually submit the workplace skills plan from a fiduciary perspective and financial perspective? But I also look at, did the training impact the learner and improve his performance? Okay.
There's a further comment from Michael Tiger suggesting Kirkpatrick's model, which, Michael, I like the thought, and particularly bearing in mind the impact of AI on how we do assessment. The importance of developing a best practice model that's current, bearing in mind AI, would be a very interesting thing for the ASDSA to work on. And
that
then a further comment from Tlotlo saying, wow, that's fantastic. That is my current area of development. Would really like to properly monitor the impact. So Tlotlo, it sounds like you're going to be brought in to engage, I think, in a task group when we look at this.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
It would be great for us to have an AI tool that we could actually monitor the return on investment from both of those perspectives.
And then I see Tandi, you have a hand up if you want to come in.
Yes, thanks, Andy. I'm quite excited by the question, because in particular, the Kirkpatrick model has got levels. And I think we should really take this forward as one of the strategic things that we need to discuss and start looking at the levels, particularly level 2. And it will help us to talk about the value proposition of the organization to the business. If we are going to get the corporates listening and paying attention to who we are, and also valuing the time the members take to get themselves accredited and to stay as
Agreed.
a standing
Fully
member.
agreed. Yes.
And I see
100%.
lots of thumbs up coming from the members here. Also, Sylvia saying, also achieving the international compliance through training has a value. So I think this is a
Absolutely.
hot topic for
Absolutely.
us.
Very hot topic. Very hot topic. So I think I recently did an assessment where AI was used in the assessment to automatically recalibrate. As I went through the assessment, it recalibrated the answers or the questions that as I was answering the questions, it was recalibrating so that it was unique to me, and AI was used for that. So that's how we should be looking towards the future for skills development. Just saying, we've got to harness this thing called AI. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next thing on our agenda, Andy.
I think that's still with you, though I just want to point out to members, Angelique has put the link in the chat box for CPD points already there if you want to get some CPD points for yourself. Sharon, I think the next is still with you. If I can hand it back to you.
Thank you. Let me just have a look at what I just need to remember what our next. Okay, so the next is the changes in positions. Okay.
Yes.
So our changes in positions, I just wanted to speak to everybody about the current changes in positions. We have alluded to Andy. Andy is retiring at the end of December in the Treasury position, and we are going to start the process of succession planning with Andy on the Treasury side. But like Andy has said, it's a retirement position. I just wanted to very quickly thank Andy for his contribution to the ASDSA. I don't know if anybody knows this, but Andy is actually well, I think everybody does know this. Andy has been a member for 20 years. Is that correct, Andy?
Yes, I think I'm actually the only remaining founder member. I had a look.
You're the only remaining founder member. He was actually one of the founder members with Jill. He's just celebrated his 20 years with the ASDSA, and I think I would like to recommend to the board that Andy become an honorary member of the ASDSA, so that going forward he no longer has to pay for his membership. I think that would be the right thing for us to do, because he should become an honorary member of the ASDSA, being a founding member of the organization. But I would just like to say from my side, the contribution that you have made to this organization has been phenomenal. I remember when I was driving back from the Easter holidays 5 years ago, when I got very tragic news, and then a shocking news from you to say, do you have any problem stepping into the position that Jill was in? And I was like, okay, I think I can do this, but I don't think I would have been able to do it if it wasn't for you. So I just wanted to say, as much as you're retiring, I don't think I would have been able to do this position if you weren't around. And I've really learned a lot from you. And I am going to miss our engagements. Last night I phoned Andy and I said to him that it's you and me today, and we've got to get this done. And it was just, yes, let's get this done. So that is how Andy has been my support for a long time. And we've worked hand in hand together for a long time. He's taught me a lot. And, I was very shaky and nervous in the beginning when I started this, as much as everybody thinks that it's an easy position to take up. And I really, in the beginning, did not have a clue what I was doing, to tell you the truth. I did not think I was going to actually fulfill the duties that I was going to fulfill, but Andy made me feel like I could do it. So I pushed forward and made sure that I fulfilled the responsibilities that and Andy had the faith in me to do. So I just wanted to say an extremely big thank you from my side as well. You will be missed. I know we've had our tiffs here and there, as most people will do in a family, and we have been a family over the last couple of years. It's been ups and downs here and there. But yeah, I think the ASDSA has been richer for you being in it, and we've been through SAQA verifications and audits, and we've sat on position papers and colluded on those. We've changed designations for the better. We have done a number of things that have made this organization far better than it was when we started. So I would just like to say, from the ASDSA side, you are amazing. So I really wish that you are going to have a good rest and not work too hard when you are in your retirement. I know you like to travel, so do that as much as you can. And don't be too far away, because we'll still need some position papers and some position statements and some input every now and then, because you have a vast knowledge and a wealth of knowledge that you can still share with us. I don't believe anybody should actually retire entirely. I don't think I ever will either. So I think that's important to note. So I don't know if
Sharon,
you want,
that's very kind. Thank you very much. Just to clarify, I'm stepping back from many of the formal positions that I've got, but I'm very happy to stay on as a member. And of course, the LGCTA projects are running, so they are still.
Yes, so you're still going to be running that until June next year. So, and there's potentially another one in the pipeline. So we don't know if that's going to come through yet. But I just wanted to make the members aware of the contribution that you've made to the organization. I think it's important that the members know how much you have worked in the background. So, okay, is there anything that you would like to say?
No, I've just actually have said it already. So thank you for the kind words.
Okay. And then the other positions, you know, I've said thank you to Tracy for all of her hard work. She is moving on, as she has said to me, to greener pastures. Her business is growing, so that is fantastic. I wish her all the best, Kristen. I've had the opportunity to deal with Kristen and work with her when she was getting her designation. I did a little bit of mentoring there. I think both ladies have amazing potential, and I wish them all the best. I thank them for their dedicated service to the ASDSA, and we will also be dealing with the succession planning from that perspective moving forward. Then where my position is concerned, as you know, I have been the chairperson and CEO. So my title was officially national chairperson, but it encompassed the chairperson and the CEO position for the last 5 years. I have been with the ASDSA since 2015, and it was time for me to take a step back and reflect and just take a pause. I'm not leaving the ASDSA entirely, but I am definitely stepping down from the CEO role just to have a little bit of a breather. And perhaps next year, in 6 months' time, when there's something else for me to do, I will come back and engage on maybe the technical committee with Andy. You never know. It might be time for me to come back. But it has been a very rough year for me with regards to the workload, and it is time for somebody else to now step into my shoes. What I would like to say to the members is, it has been a privilege to serve you. It has been a privilege to work with you and engage with you. I do that from the bottom of my heart, and I am extremely passionate about this organization. I wish it all the best and all the success. I would like this professional body to be the professional body in all of the professional bodies, for it to be kick-ass as far as I'm concerned. And I am extremely excited for Yolandi to take over. I think she is the right person to step into my shoes, and was my natural succession plan. I think she will lead you to the heights that the ASDSA needs to go to. So I am extremely excited for her. So yeah, that's all I really had to say. I just wanted to, I will circulate a short biography of Yolandi. I'm sure you are aware of who she is and what she is capable of. I have already prepared a short biography that will be going out and circulated to all the members. So that's pretty much it from my side. I think we can open now for some comments and questions.
Sharon, so there are some very nice congratulations to you and thank yous.
Thank you, everybody. I
from
appreciate
a
that.
number of people. I think it's just worthwhile to look at it. Are there any other comments from our members that people would like to raise, or questions that you'd like to ask? Anything else from anyone? Because I think we basically are done, Sharon. I think there's nothing else.
Yeah, I think we are
Okay.
pretty much done. I just wanted to say, I did notice in the beginning, Melanie, I think it was Melanie Richards said, Annie, there's no such thing as retirement. And Melanie, I agree with you. There is no such thing as retirement. I don't think we'll ever retire ourselves 100% from the ASDSA. Our hearts will always still lie with the ASDSA because we are quite passionate about this. It's a little professional body now, but it's going to be quite great.
Then
Okay.
I'm seeing further nice comments. Congrats to people. Congrats to Yolandi. That's great.
Yes. Congratulations
think-
to Yolandi coming in.
I'm not seeing any other questions coming in, so I think we are done.
I do think that we are done. So just for all of you that don't know it, that is our new CEO. Okay, and I'll be circulating that later.
Great. Then I think that's it. Thanks from me, everyone.
All right. Thank you,
Have a
everybody.
day.
Have a wonderful day.